and all, and happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. Today, we are looking at this game one against the Dodgers. Brew Crew didn't come out on top, but we're going to cover it here. And then we're looking at game two of this series coming up tonight here. And then we're going to look at a little bit of Packers news as they're preparing for their second game of the preseason here against the Patriots. But with that, we're going to jump right into the Brewers and their game one against the Dodgers here. And we're looking at the start of this game here. I had a little bit of confidence in the Brewers. Started out, Yelich led off the game with a base hit. Contreras walked right after that. Santana flew at the deep center, and I said, okay, we can hit this guy. He's a hard thrower, but that fastball straight, we can hit this guy. Frelick brought him in with an RBI. It looked good right away, and it looked good because I thought, honestly, Adrian Hauser had a phenomenal outing, and it doesn't look like it looking at his 3 earned runs, 4 runs in total. But you look at what you expect out of a guy like Adrian Hauser, 6 strikeouts in this game, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. I didn't expect more than that. I expected 3 to 4 runs to be given up. A 2-run game would have been phenomenal. It would have been just amazing out of a guy like Adrian Hauser. But to give up 3 runs in this outing, not a too shabby of an outing. And actually, Milner came in there, could not close down that threat the Dodgers had. They expanded on that lead, and that was enough. And right then, that's the problem with the Brewers' offense, is that right then I could have said, ball game. Ball game's over. 6-1, ball game's over. This Brewers team cannot score runs in bunches like that, especially how they were going in this one. 2 hits in total. Later on in the game, Carlos Santana hit a moonshot, or, well, a line shot to left field, 442 feet to be exact, for a home run. Other than that, this Brewers offense went stagnant in this game after that first inning. It was a struggle to get anybody on base for this team here. In the game, they had 1 walk in total. That was William Contreras' walk there in the first. They had 2 hits, Santana and Yelich both with a hit. Santana had that home run. They struggled offensively. Defensively, big struggle there. Monasterio with the big air. That's where a lot of those runs got pushed across there in that big 6th inning for the Dodgers. And then a couple of miscues by Terang at second base, a couple of tough plays. But we've seen it out of Terang this year. He makes those plays, and that's where seeing him miss those few balls out there, that was a bit of a struggle for him. On the flip side of it, though, you held down this Dodgers offense for the most part. Besides that big 6th inning for them, they struggled offensively too in this game. You held down Freddie Freeman for an 0 for 4 performance for him. Also, Smith came in at 0 for 4. Nobody really hit the crap out of the Brewers like we would have expected, especially going to LA in this one. But Hauser did a good job. Milner struggled a little bit. I'm not really sure why Milner was the best choice in that situation, second and third. I think there was only, there was only an out in the inning, so 5 1/3 innings Hauser went. So in a third of an inning, Milner made it. I don't know if Milner was the best option in that situation. Maybe bring in Uribe in that situation. Possibly a guy like Paguero. I could have seen those guys getting that opportunity there to try to shut the door and get out of that inning unscathed. I just don't. Milner's good against lefties, but we knew what Dave Roberts was going to do. The minute Craig Counsell put in that lefty, he was going to match him and he was going to throw a righty in there, and then the bender becomes a non-factor against those righties. And we saw that the Dodgers are a very good hitting lineup, and they exposed what Milner had. Milner struggled. We're not used to seeing Milner struggle. It could have been just this game here. A little bit of an overreaction on my part, but I think they kind of exposed Milner for his weaknesses out there. And Milner didn't have his best stuff tonight, and that was a big part of it too. And then looking at Bryce Wilson too. Wilson came in 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no runs, and he pitched pretty good out of the pen for him. Bryce Wilson did. He kind of shut it down after they had that little blow up there against Milner after pulling Hauser. On the flip side of it, Miller went 6 innings for the Dodgers. He gave up 1 earned run, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. He looked good, and then Yarbo came in for the 3-inning save for the Dodgers there. He gave up an earned run on 1 hit, that Santana home run, 2 strikeouts. So a decent job by the Brewers here. kind of holding this Dodgers offense down, but they exploded there in that sixth inning, and that was the big difference in this one. Looking towards tomorrow's game here for the Brewers, it's looking like we're going to have Wade Miley on the mound for the Brewers. He'll match up with Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw is sitting at 10-4 in the season, 2.51 ERA. He's been looking solid so far. Maybe the Brewers can get to him. They have a thing for hitting the really good pitchers, the aces of the staff, and then they have a thing for kind of turning into duds when they face the rookies or the guys who aren't as well known. So maybe this game against Kershaw, maybe that's the spark that the Brewers will need here. Wade Miley coming in this game, he's at 6-2 record, 2.90 ERA for him in 77 innings and 64 hits, giving up 53 strikeouts on the season. So Wade Miley versus Clayton Kershaw, a southpaw matchup there against the Dodgers. Right now, it's looking like for the Brewers, this game right here, especially with Burns going in game 3, hopefully you get a good outing of Wade Miley. The Brewers offense, were really looking for them to pick it up there in game 2. Hopefully knock a couple runs across here, get Wade Miley a lead, let him pitch, get it to the bullpen, let Peguero, Pampas, Uribe, Williams do the work and get them a win, and then go into that Burns start on Thursday sitting pretty good. If you can get the Burns with this series tied 1-1, I am fairly confident in Burns against Lynn that Burns can outduel him and that this series, the Brewers can win this series. Looking at the past, um, looking at the injury front for the Brewers right now, we'll jump into that a little bit here just to check out how guys are doing right now. Looking at our injuries, the Brewers will make a decision on when to send Aaron Ashby on a rehab assignment very soon. So it's looking like Aaron Ashby could be on the rehab pretty soon here. Also, injury front news for the Brewers. Rowdy Tellez is down at AAA Nashville right now. He's been getting work 2 for 18 this last uh this last little bit for him there with Nashville, but hopefully with a little bit more time down there, trying to pull up his stats here down in AAA real quick. Hopefully, with a little bit more time down there for Rowdy, he starts to find his bat, and that's kind of what they're hoping for. With Nashville right now in 23 at bats, he's got 4 hits for him, 174 average, 4 strikeouts, 1 RBI. He did have a 2 for 5 performance yesterday night for Nashville. So hopefully that's going to spark his bat. They don't expect him to be out here for the LA series, but they're not trying to clear a roster spot for him up until the point where they know his bat is getting a little bit more consistent in there. So hopefully Rowdy, if we're going to see Rowdy again, hopefully he gets right down there in AAA and then we can bring him up. They said potentially you could see him in the Rangers series. I would assume send down of Abraham Toro again would be on the docket. My big question though with the Brewers right now is with Joey Weimer, what their thought process is working with Tyrone Taylor and Joey Weimer right now. We've seen a lot of Tyrone Taylor lately, not a lot of Joey Weimer. I know they've been supposed to be splitting time a little bit here. Maybe this is Tyrone Taylor's last shot. Maybe we're just seeing what Tyrone Taylor has. They're giving him a last opportunity with more than enough at bats that he should be able to log some hits. And if he continues to struggle, maybe Tyrone Taylor's a guy we see sent down to the minors or outrighted at some point here. I don't know. Just a thought there with Tyrone. We've given him a lot of opportunities, and he's never really blossomed into a productive or overly productive hitter at the plate. He does have his production, and he can hit. We've seen him hit. He comes up with some big hits for the Brewers, but it's not a consistent bat in this Brewers lineup. So maybe this is the last dance for Tyrone Taylor here in these coming weeks to see what he can do before potentially we could see maybe like Owen Miller coming back up to the Brewers. Owen Miller has been down in AAA for a little bit now. He's been hitting decent down there for AAA, a 310 average for him right now. He's got 9 hits and in 29 at bats. So not a bad look for Owen Miller, 1 home run down there, 5 RBIs. I could see Owen Miller getting a call back up here to the major leagues at some point for the Brewers. Also, a guy like Keston Hiura. I know we don't. Some people don't want to see Keston Hiura again. Some people think, why not give Keston Hiura another shot? 306 average, 17 home runs, 79 RBIs, 60, 79 hits, and 63 RBIs for Keston Hiura this season at AAA Nashville. I don't see why not. I don't see why you don't give another shot to a guy like Keston Hiura. What's it going to hurt at this point? We could see what he's got. If he struggles, well, welcome to the club because this Brewers lineup is struggling in total. So a guy like Keston Hiura being added back to this team isn't going to be the downfall of him. I can tell you that much. And then we look at catcher down there for Nashville, Peyton Henry. I could see him as another call up at some point this season for the Brewers. 57 hits, a 310 average right now, 27 RBIs, and 7 home runs for him. Those are all potential guys who could get called back up to the Brewers here at some point. That could add some much needed consistent hitting in the Brewers lineup. I don't know if Keston Hiura, we've seen him at the major league level. He still has that strikeout problem, 71 strikeouts there at AAA. But with him with a 306 average right now, you might take the strikeouts for the amount of hitting that he's doing down at AAA. If he can produce at a 250, 260 clip at the major league level while striking out a little bit, I can live with that. If he wants to hit 260 and strike out every time he doesn't get a hit, that's fine with me. That would be perfectly fine with me with this Brewers team right now because the inconsistency, Keston Hiura will not hurt this lineup. I don't think a guy like Owen Miller, Owen Miller's definitely not going to hurt this lineup. I was really surprised by the send down of Owen Miller earlier this season, and I think that Owen Miller does deserve another shot here at the major league roster because I do see him as a productive piece there in this organization going forward this season. But with that right now, other than Rowdy Tellez down there at AAA, we're looking at JC Mejia. He was sent to the 15-day IL for the Brewers, and then Julio Tehran. He threw a bullpen session Saturday, so looking like he might be on the up and coming and getting back to the team here. Perkins still sitting on the 10-day IL. Jesse Winker began a rehab assignment next week. He will. So looking like we're going to get some guys back here pretty soon. I'm not sure with Jesse Winker if there's going to be a spot on this roster for Winker here for the rest of the season. Maybe see a guy like Jesse Winker down at AAA. That would be about all I could see out of him going forward this season. Other than that, it was reported that the Brewers promoted Luis Lara to high A, the Timber Rattlers. He was hitting 285 for low A this season with a 379 on base percentage, 22 stolen bases. So a good news there for the Brewers. Another outfield prospect being moved up here. Nice and easy for the Brewers. Other than that, so far for the Brewers right now, CC Sabathia is actually being inducted into the Brewers wall. So good news there for CC. Impressive work in that one season with the Brewers. He was a workhorse, and it's awesome to see a guy like CC Sabathia getting inducted and being put onto the wall on it's looking like August 25th. He will get onto the wall there for the Brewers. So great news there for CC Sabathia. Nice to have him back in Milwaukee. He's happy to be back in Milwaukee, so great to see. Other than that, though, with the Brewers right now, yeah, that's about it. All we have for Brewers talk here. Just hoping for a solid outing here against the Dodgers tonight. Looking forward to it. And this offense has been lacking. They need some production, and they need some production out of guys we've talked about. Willie Adames really needs some production out of Willie, and then looking at guys like Joey Weimer potentially if he gets in there. Tyrone Taylor if he's the opposite end of that spectrum. Carlos Santana has been hitting a little bit better as of late. So has Mark Canha. But other than those guys, looking for Yelich to stay hot there at the top. Monasterio and William Contreras for this team, carrying on here through this Dodgers series. I do really think, like we talked about yesterday, the underlying guys are going to have to produce for this Brewers team if they're going to excel and win a couple more games here in this series before they ultimately, I mean, you look at like the standings right now for the Brewers here in the NL Central, and the Pirate or the Reds and the Cubs both lost today, or yesterday. So that's good news for the Brewers there. They stayed 3.5 games up, but you want to keep building that lead. You don't want to be sitting 3.5 games up for the rest of the season here and have that last series be a potential. If you lose a game, you lose 2 games, you're out. You're in a wild card spot now. You want to be able to take advantage of when these teams are losing. So that's where I'm really looking for the Brewers. They need to put some statement wins on the board, and that could be against these Dodgers here, especially tonight here with Wade Miley on the mound, and then tomorrow with Burns on the mound. And then going to the Rangers, you'll have Fastball Freddie and Woodruff on the mound there for 2 games. So it's setting up for a big game two here against the Dodgers, and hopefully this Brewers offense is up to snuff and it's ready to go. Other than that, though, we'll jump over into some Packers news here. Packers are looking at Patriots here coming up this weekend. It's setting up to be a good game for the Packers offense. These rookies against a Bill Belichick led defense. I think that's going to add a lot of it. It's going to help the Packers, especially the young guys. That's where I'm really getting with this, is that the young guys need to go against solid defenses. And I think this Patriots team, especially with a guy like Bill Belichick, a been there, done that head coach, he can give a lot of looks to this Packers offense and really help them excel here, especially leading up into getting closer to the regular season opener against the Chicago Bears. Looking at the injury report so far for this game, right now for the Packers, we talked about Tyler Davis ACL tear. He's out. Rashawn Gary, he's questionable. Tyler Goodson, questionable for this game. Tariq Carpenter and Kenny Clark are all questionable for this game for the Packers. It sucks to see Kenny Clark getting injured there. It looks like, from what I saw, it is a back injury. Carpenter's out due to a back injury. Tyler Goodson had his right arm in a sling on Sunday's practice. Not really sure what's going on with him. And then Gary, still with his knee, is sidelined at practice and may not be cleared this week. So hopefully see Rashawn Gary getting back out on the field here pretty soon, along with Kenny Clark. Two instrumental pieces to that defense. And then another guy in Carpenter. Hopefully that back injury proves to not be a lot. Same with Goodson, and those guys can all get back into the lineup here pretty soon for the Packers. Other than that, Eric Stokes still out as of right now. Looking at the depth chart here, Eric Stokes is still out. Tariq Carpenter is questionable. Corey Ballantine is questionable. Jair Alexander, Rashawn Gary, and Kenny Clark all questionable. And Joshua DeGuara, Caleb Jones, Luke Tenuta, Tyler Davis is out yet, and then Lou Nichols is questionable for this game for the Packers. Other than that, though, jumping into some other Packers news right now. Love looking for more from Jordan Love in game two here. Like we talked about, Jordan Love had a great, it was a great first game for Jordan Love. I thought he played really well for him leading into this game two. He only got in there for a couple drives right away, but it was good to see a guy like Jordan Love get out there. You're supposed to be your QB1, and he played a solid game for this Packers team. Let's see, looking at the box here from it just to get my stats right. 7 for 10, he had 46 yards, 1 touchdown, so you can't knock that performance from Jordan Love. It's what we wanted to see. And then Sean Clifford kind of turning into that solid number 2 for Jordan Love with that 20 for 26 performance there in that first game for him. Emmanuel Wilson is also another guy I'm watching here against the Patriots. Can he become, if he has another solid game, I really do think he becomes that solid third option for the Packers there in the running back room. And then looking for a better outing in this game from Carlson. If Carlson struggles again, I really do think the Packers need to look elsewhere for kicking options. If they don't, make a phone call and call Mason Crosby and say, hey, Cros, you want to come back for one more because right now it's a struggle for Carlson right now, and you can't have that. You cannot be sitting with that, especially getting farther into the preseason here, getting close to opening kickoff. It's it's not worth the wait. We need to jump on this early. We can't wait until we're in season and we lose to the Bears first week because we can't kick an extra point to save our lives. So looking for better things out of Carlson there and a little bit more from Jordan Love here in this second game of the season. But other than that, that is all I have for today for an update for you in Wisconsin news. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Hopefully, looking forward to a Brewers win against the Dodgers tonight here. Looking for a good outing from Wade Miley. But with that, that is all I have. This has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces, Brew Crew.